It is 7:14 a.m. in the Caribbean Sea when everything turns tense in one instant. A US B-21 raider moves across its test route far from the Venezuelan coast. The sky is calm, the air is clear, and nothing looks out of place. Inside the cockpit, a sudden sharp tone breaks the quiet. A red warning light flashes. The crew stops talking. The screen shows a tracking signal coming from the direction of Paraguay. It is not a soft sweep. It is strong enough to make the pilot lean forward and stare at the display. At the same time, the command center in Puerto Rico receives the alert from the raider. Operators pause for a second before reacting. No one knows who is behind the signal, or why it is targeting a stealth bomber flying in international airspace. Back inside the B-21, the pilot holds the controls tight. The warning tone continues. He has only seconds to choose whether to stay on course or break away before this moment turns into something far worse. This moment matters because of where it happened. The B-21 was flying through a part of the Caribbean where every radar pulse is taken seriously. The waters north of Venezuela are crowded with shipping lanes, patrol routes, and military flights. Nothing here goes unnoticed, which is why a radar spike hitting a stealth bomber cannot be ignored by either side. For Venezuela, the Paraguay Peninsula is one of their most sensitive zones. It holds key energy sites, coastal radar systems, and S-300 VM launch units. When their operators see an unexpected return on their screens, they view it as more than a routine contact. They see a possible threat moving near critical assets. That pushes their crews to react quickly, sometimes faster than the situation truly demands. For the United States, the B-21 is not just another aircraft. It is the most advanced stealth bomber ever built. Every test flight is closely controlled. Any strong radar beam hitting it can reveal patterns the US wants to protect. When a warning tone appears in the cockpit, it becomes about more than the crew's safety. It becomes about shielding a platform worth billions and the technology behind it. What makes this moment dangerous is how easily misunderstandings can grow. The B-21 crew sees a sudden tracking signal. The Venezuelan radar team sees an unknown aircraft. Neither side knows the full truth. In a region already full of pressure, a mistake of seconds can turn a simple flight into a major incident. This tension has been building for years. In the Caribbean, even small actions carry weight. A radar sweep can look hostile. A course change can look intentional. A signal spike can feel like the start of something bigger. Normal routines can trigger unpredictable reactions when both sides expect the other to push first. As the B-21 holds course and Venezuela watches every move, both sides feel the pressure. No shots are fired, but the risk hangs over every second. One wrong decision could pull both countries into a situation neither one is prepared for. If you think Venezuela acted on purpose, press 1. If you think it was just a misunderstanding, press 9. Inside the B-21 cockpit, the warning tone keeps sounding. It is sharp and steady, and the crew knows it is not a normal background sweep. The pilot looks at the display again. The signal from Paraguay is narrow and focused, the kind that means someone on the ground is trying to study whatever they have found. For a stealth bomber, that is never a small thing. The pilot sends the alert to the command center in Puerto Rico. Operators replay the data and confirm it is real. The tone has the pattern of a radar trying to classify an unknown target. The watch officer orders 2 F-35 Ampers fighters to prepare for launch, while a Pate Ampers already in the Caribbean is told to watch the Venezuelan radar closely. A KC-135 is placed on standby in case the raider needs to move farther out. In Paraguay, the Venezuelan radar crew is focused on a training UAV when a second faint return appears. It is small and cold, nothing like their drone. They increase the radar strength to separate both signals. That increase is the sweep that triggers the B-21 warning tone. To the crew on the ground, the second return looks unusual. They cannot tell what it is, and that uncertainty adds pressure. When the B-21 detects the stronger sweep, its automatic protection system lowers its signature. For a few seconds, the Venezuelan radar shows interference. The crew believes the unknown aircraft reacted to them on purpose. They send a report up the chain, warning that the target may be advanced. In Maracay, pilots walk toward their Su-30 Mk2 fighters and wait for instructions. They still have no clear picture, only that an unknown return acted in a way they did not expect. Inside the Raider, the pilot keeps the bomber on its path. Any fast move toward the coast could be taken the wrong way. Any sudden climb could look like an attempt to escape or prepare for something else. The crew knows they must stay calm even though the tone keeps echoing around them. As the F-35 Ampere's fighters take off and climb over the Caribbean, the B-21 crew hears that help is coming, but the signal from Venezuela has not gone away. Both sides are watching an event neither fully understands, each trying to judge the next move. Everyone involved knows how fast a moment like this can grow into something far more serious. The tension grows as the Paraguana signal stays steady. Inside the B-21, the crew watches it rise and fade in tight waves. It isn't a full lock, but it is far stronger than a normal sweep. The pilot holds the controls firmly, knowing every second on this path increases the risk of a wrong move. In Puerto Rico, the command center tracks the activity as the 8 Ampere sends updated scans. Analysts note the angle and timing match a radar trying to sharpen its picture. Even a brief moment of clarity can change how a target appears, and both sides react to that uncertainty. Everyone in the room knows that one misread signal in this region has triggered trouble before, and they don't want history repeating itself. Above the Caribbean, 2 F-35s hold a support position just outside restricted airspace. Their pilots stay silent, aware that one spike or one wrong turn could flip the situation instantly. They keep their sensors ready, maintaining distance but prepared to step in if the Raider calls for cover. In Paraguana, Venezuelan operators study 2 returns on their screens. The training UAV shows clearly, but the second contact moves too smoothly to be a drone. They widen the scan, which sends another spike into the B-21 cockpit and raises the pressure again. In Maracay, Su-30 Mk2 pilots wait in their jets. Updates come in short bursts. No one wants to scramble without certainty, but the longer the unknown contact holds course, the more uneasy the command becomes. Inside the B-21, the pilot considers a small north turn to reduce the radar angle, but even that could be misread as a maneuver. A slight climb could look like strike preparation. In close encounters, tiny adjustments can trigger big reactions, so the crew holds steady. On the 8 Ampere screens, a new wider Venezuelan sweep appears. Analysts note this pattern is often used to confirm 2 targets, which risks deepening the confusion instead of solving it. Both sides are stuck in a moment where nobody wants to fire, but nobody wants to look weak. Each update tightens the tension. Each second adds weight. If you think this escalation could have pushed both sides into a fight, press 1. If you think they handled it well, press 9. And remember to subscribe for more reports. The twist behind the crisis starts with something simple: a training UAV. The Venezuelan radar crew had launched it earlier. As part of a routine drill, their job was to follow the drone and check how well their radar handled it. Nothing about the drill was meant to involve any foreign aircraft. But when the B-21 passed along the edge of their scan, both targets showed up at the same moment. Inside the radar room, operators tried to separate the UAV from the second faint return. The unknown contact did not drift like a drone. It moved in a smooth, steady line. They had no idea it was a stealth bomber far offshore. With limited data, they assumed the second return was something advanced reacting to their scan. Inside the B-21, the crew still did not know a training drone was part of the picture. They only saw a focused sweep hitting their aircraft and the protection system tightening their signature. That reaction caused brief interference on the Venezuelan screen, which made the radar crew more certain the unknown aircraft was adjusting to them. As both sides watched the same moment, the misunderstanding grew fast. Venezuela thought the target was responding to their radar. The B-21 crew thought Venezuela was pushing harder to ID them. Neither knew it was just a drone drill and unlucky timing. Small routines can spark big reactions. A training UAV, a radar cycle, and a faint return, none of them are dangerous alone. But when they overlap, each side can see a threat where none exists. If you think this twist nearly pushed both sides into a fight, press 1. If you think it was only bad timing, press 9. And subscribe for more updates like this. The moment both sides feared arrives when the radar spike inside the B-21 grows stronger than before. It is still not a full lock, but it is the closest the signal has come. In the cockpit, the pilot feels the pressure as the tone sharpens. Holding the same path is getting harder, and any wrong move could make things worse. Far above the Caribbean, the two F-35 as slide into final support formation. They stay high and wide, giving the radar space while avoiding anything that looks hostile. Their radios stay open, ready for the B-21 to call. One pilot notes the Venezuelan radar cycle is shifting again, meaning the next sweep may be stronger. In Paraguay, the radar crew sees both returns again. The UAV is steady, but the second target moves with controlled precision. They sense something is off. They increase the scan once more. That sweep hits the B-21 with the strongest pulse yet, and the radar reacts instantly, lowering its signature. For a moment, both sides stare at unclear screens. In Maracay, Su-30 Mk2 pilots finally receive the order to stand by for a possible scramble. Engines power up, echoing through the hangar, a signal that Venezuela is preparing for the next step if the contact moves closer. But command still doesn't have clear data. Inside the B-21, the pilot decides he cannot wait. He makes a slight turn north, slow enough to avoid looking aggressive, but enough to change the radar angle. The crew watches as the signal drops just enough to ease the cockpit tone. For several seconds, no one speaks. They wait for the radar's reaction. The Venezuelan operators see the shift. The unknown target is no longer heading toward their airspace. This small turn creates a pause, and tension in the command room eases slightly. They don't relax, but the mood shifts from emergency to caution. The F-35 Ampere's pilots confirm the radar's new heading. The sky stays quiet. No jets scramble. No missile systems activate. For the first time in minutes, the situation feels like it may stop rising. But nobody forgets how close they came. One sweep, one turn, and a few seconds of confusion nearly pushed both sides into direct contact. The line between safety and danger was almost non-existent. If you think this small turn saved both sides from a real clash, press 1. If you think the danger was still far from over, press 9. And remember to subscribe for more reports like this. When the B-21's turn becomes clear and the radar tone weakens, the pressure across the region finally begins to drop. Inside the bomber, the crew waits a little longer to make sure the sweep does not return. Only when the screen settles do they relax. Nothing happened, but they know how close the moment came. In Puerto Rico, the command center confirms that Venezuela has not launched fighters. The Pate Amperes reports the radar returning to a normal cycle. Operators switch from crisis mode to review mode, saving every piece of data. A single radar spike forced them to prepare for a major response, and they know how important those seconds were. In Paraguay, the Venezuelan radar crew steps back from their monitors. Their UAV drill ends normally, but the confusion stays with them. They never plan to track a stealth bomber. Two signals appearing in the same cycle push them into a situation they did not expect. In Maracay, the Su-30 Mk2 pilots shut down their engines. They remained on standby, but the order alone shows how quickly a routine scan can grow into a real alert. The command staff prepares a report and looks for ways to avoid similar misunderstandings. For both sides, the lesson is simple. The Caribbean has become a place where small actions can lead to sudden tension. A training UAV, a routine test flight, and one sharp radar sweep were enough to bring two militaries close to escalation. No weapons fired, but the risk was real. The B-21 continues on its new path. The F-35 Ampere's fighters hold their position a bit longer, then return once the sky stays calm. The moment passes, but not the warning it carries. Incidents like this show how thin the line has become. One sweep, one signal, or one wrong reading could push things much farther next time. If you think this close call shows how unstable the region is becoming, press 1. If you think both sides will handle the next incident better, press 9. And don't forget to subscribe for more reports like this.